Welcome to another episode of the Yarn and You Girl podcast. I'm Janine, your host, also known as Yarn and You Girl, and this is my channel where I get to talk about all the crafty things. Thank you so much for coming by and spending some time with me. If you are a new viewer, I really appreciate you checking me out. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming and spending your time with me. If it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't even be talking to anybody. I would just be sitting here talking to myself, which I really am talking to myself as it is. But I feel like I'm actually spending some time with all of you out there. So thank you so much for sharing a little bit of your time with me. And if you like the channel, please be sure to like the video or subscribe to my channel. That way we can kind of get more interest out there in the YouTube world. And yeah, so I talk about all the crafty things. Lately it's been mostly about knitting and a little bit of cross stitch. And so let's just kind of go into what's been happening. I've been a little out of it this week. The whole family has been very sick. Not only have we been sick here, but my sister, my sister-in-law, everybody's got a bout of the flu of some sort. Now, my whole family, I'm a pharmacist. You guys know that. If you've been watching, my husband's a pharmacist, so we firmly believe in vaccinating. So all of us got our flu shots this year, but it didn't seem to be doing much good for me or the rest of my family. And then I know this year the flu vaccine, they didn't do a great job. Because what they have to do is predict what they think is going to be the most virulent strain. So, you know, it's all guesswork, and they just didn't guess very well this year. So, anyway, we all got a little sick. I didn't get as sick as my son or my husband or my sister-in-law. And then my sister, who didn't get her flu shot this year, got hit really hard. So this week's been a little rough. On Tuesday, my son Jordan had a 104.5 temperature. And on Thursday, I had to take my husband to the emergency room because he was so sick and his blood pressure was so low that he passed out and hit his face on the edge of the couch. And like, I thought he might have hit the windowsill, but we think it was actually the edge of the couch because the windowsill and the edge of the couch are really close together. And he fractured a bone in his nose, like kind of right here. He has this nice little scrape right here. But when he passed out, I was leading him to the couch because he was not feeling well. He's like, I noticed something was wrong. He had gone to the bathroom. He thought he was gonna, get sick. And he thinks he passed out against the bathroom wall. And I realized something was going on. So I go over to him and I'm like, let's get you to the couch, right? So I walk him over to the couch and he just sort of buckled on his way down to the couch. And I thought he was just kind of going to like slump onto the couch and lay down. And I imagined he was going to turn his body so that he could lay down on the couch. And instead he just went like face first into the couch and wasn't very responsive for about 5 to 10 seconds. I was freaking out when I finally got him to respond to me, and I turned him over. He was bleeding from the nose, and so we had to take him, and he had kind of hyperextended his neck when he fell because he kind of went like this against the couch, and we had to take him to the emergency room. So that was a big deal. His blood pressure was really low. His heart rate was really low. They gave him some fluids, and then did a CAT scan to make sure that he didn't fracture anything, and then he, that's when they found out he fractured the bone in his nose. So we've all been a little, beat up and bruised this week. So bear with me if I'm trying to get my thoughts and processes together. I do want to say thank you so much to everybody who was so kind and so supportive about what I talked about with my mom in the last episode. Things are moving forward. She did go to the doctor's appointment and I went with her. That was kind of eye-opening. They didn't do like a full screen there, but they did like a quick like 5-question screen. And yeah, it wasn't good, guys. She knew her name. When the doctor asked her, what day it was, she said, the 13th or the 14th, and I think it was the 14th, so she was close. The doctor asked her what month it was, and she said April. And then when the doctor asked her what year she thought it was, she's like, and she says, I keep wanting to say 1944, but that's not right because that's when I was born. And I'm sitting there, and she keeps looking at me for support and for the answer. And I'm like, I can't help you. I can't answer these questions for you. So I was just holding her hand, and the doctor, she's like, I don't really pay attention to that stuff anymore. And I get that. She's retired. But when the doctor said, well, why don't you, if you had to write down a number, what would you write down for the year? She said 1976, you guys. 1976. It was pretty scary. It was eye-opening. I mean, I knew that she was bad, and she has good days and she has bad days, but I didn't really think it was that bad. But I just held her hand, and the doctor was amazing. She didn't judge. She didn't make any kind of comments or anything about it. She just kind of jotted down the notes, and she did say that, she thought that there were some memory issues going on, and so they did some blood work, and then they scheduled a full memory screening, which is like an hour-long thing where my mom will sit down with someone and answer questions at that point. So that was kind of rough, but I'm really glad that I went. My dad and I are going to a support group meeting this upcoming Wednesday, so I'm excited about that. I don't know if he would go on his own, and so I'm going to go with him. And we're just going to go on Wednesday and kind of see what it's all about, and I think it'll be good for him. I think it'll be helpful to kind of give him a little bit of support, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone out there, because you guys were all amazing and you really helped me feel like this community had my back. So that was really cool. So anyway, on to knitting stuff. There's not a ton. I've been working on basically 2 projects. I don't have any finished objects this time. I do have an almost finished object, though. I'm so excited. I'm really close to being done with my Zweig sweater, and I do have some knitting in the future plans. So I'll go over all that as well. So we're just going to jump right into works in progress. As you guys know, I've been working on the Zweig sweater, which is by Caitlin Hunter or Boyland Knitworks, and she designed some really interesting and beautiful garments. And so her Zweig pullover I decided to do because, I jumped on the bandwagon, and I'm usually not like a huge bandwagon person, but you're gonna think I totally am, because one of my knitting in the future plans is total bandwagon jumping, but that's okay. I just really wanted this sweater, and it doesn't matter. So if I'm a bandwagon jumper or not, right? But anyway, so I finished the body of my Zweig. The bottom kind of curls up, the bottom hem. You're only supposed to do like an inch of the hem, and it kind of curls up, but I'm hoping that will block out. I decided I'd do the cabled detail just on the body, and then I'm doing the arms just plain stockinette. Now the main color is Baah La Jolla, which is fingering weight. It's kind of a heavy fingering, 100% superwash merino, and the main color is lavender. And then the second color, contrast color, is the dragon tail, also in Baah La Jolla. I am trying to work my sleeves 2 at a time so I don't end up on sleeve island for too long. What I've been doing is 10 rows, sorry, there's kind of a glare, 10 rows on each sleeve, and then going to the next sleeve. The problem is, so this one I'm doing on magic loop, which is fine because the needle lengths are long. I'm trying to use a 12-inch circular on this one, and when I use the little small needles, it starts to cause more hand problems, more tingling in my fingers. So I think I might be just working on the one sleeve from now on, because I've done maybe about 40 rows here. And it's just every time I go to this side, I have a really hard time with it. I like the idea of the 12-inch because I feel like it's just around and around, but I really don't like how small the needles are. I think even sometimes 16-inch cable or 16-inch circular needles can be kind of rough for me as well because their points are kind of short also, and I really need that needle to kind of lay my hand on. But 16 inches are okay because most of the time it's not super long. So anyway, it's fine. It's just, it's bothering my hands a little bit, so I don't really like it. But I've tried it on and the body fits, so I'm very excited about that. I did a little bit extra length. I think she called for like 13 inches from underarm and then an inch. I think I did about 14.5 inches. So I wanted it a little longer. I don't like sweaters to be super short. And I found that like while I really enjoy wearing my So Faded sweater, I have to wear a tank top underneath. So I wear this tank top that has kind of a lace at the bottom and it kind of gives it a nice like added length and it looks really pretty with the sweater. But I don't want to have to wear that all the time with all of my sweaters. So, you know, because that would get stinky after a while. No, so I'm really, really excited. I'm working very hard on this and trying to get it done. So I'm thinking, you know, if I have some time tonight, I might be able to get it done. Not tonight, but maybe in the next couple days. I'm a little slow sometimes. You guys know that. Obviously, you can tell by my lack of finished objects. I'm not as prolific as some other people, but that's okay because I've been dyeing a lot of yarn lately, and so that's been keeping me busy as well. So that's my Zweig, and this is in my little sheepy bag that my friend Amelia made for me. It's awesome. It holds my sweater perfectly, and yeah. The other thing I have been working on is my Hermione's Everyday socks that I cast on at the Puyallup Sew Expo, and this is in my Cantaloupe and Roses colorway. I am doing 2 at a time. It's the Hermione's Everyday pattern, but I used a Fish Lips Kiss heel. I've turned the heel now, and I'm just on the foot and just making my way. And these are sort of my go-to if I need something that I don't need to carry that's like heavy, you know. This is just kind of my go-to. I'm really liking how the color's working out. I love the sparkle in the yarn. Yeah, I really am happy with this colorway. So I did dye some more of this up. It will be, I have a show coming up in April 12th, 13th, and 14th in Portland at the Expo Center. It's the Quilt Craft and Sewing Festival. So it's the same. I've done this festival in Puyallup. This one's in Oregon, really close to me, which is great. I won't have to worry about a hotel room or anything. It'll be easier, I think, to move things to and from the show. Especially if I run out of stuff, I can replenish. So if you are in the Portland area and you're going to want some of this, it will be at the show. Anything that I don't sell at the show, I will be updating in my shop, and I will be posting an update information. So expect the next like major shop update for my yarn to be after April 14th, because I want to kind of keep most of my yarn selection for the show. I felt like the Puyallup show went really well. Everybody loved the yarn, which was great, but I didn't have enough of each colorway. I had maybe like 1 or 2 skeins of the colorways because I was still trying to kind of come up with some color ideas. And so this time I focused on trying to have multiples of each colorway. And so that will be, I'm kind of saving those for the show, and then whatever doesn't sell, I will post in the shop, and then I'll start dyeing some more for the shop after that. But that's been really fun because I've been coming up with quite a few little, you know, extra new colorways that I'm just playing with. So that's been super fun. So that is Cantaloupe and Roses. It's in one of my sock bags. I feel like it matched. It's my little cupcake sock bag. I love this fabric. I bought this when Hancock Fabric was going out of business in our area, and I got like a ton of it, and I was thinking I'd make like a skirt out of it or something really fun, and I ended up just making a bunch of project bags. So this is my project bag for this one. I decided I had to have one of my own. So that's all the knitting, you guys. It's really not a ton. It is, I do have some cross stitch, so let me get that and let me show you guys what's going on with that. This is going to be a very short episode, but you know, that's okay, because sometimes you just need a short little episode and that's all you got, right? So I'm going to take this out of the hoop because I want you guys to see how much I've done on this. This is really cool. So this is my Be Joyful cross stitch. I'm pretty sure I have finished all of the actual cross stitch parts, and then the only thing I have left is all the outline stuff. So the back stitching, which I haven't ever done back stitching before, so I'm trying that out. So this is the finished cross stitch, or the almost finished cross stitch. I just started doing the back stitching on the letters to make, and I think that's going okay. I've had a little bit of a mishaps with it, just because I'm not really sure how to make it work. But I'm very happy with how it turned out. It's super cute. I'm thinking this will be a great, I'm going to end up giving this to my mother-in-law, I think, for her birthday. I'll get it framed, and then, but I think she'll really like it. And I just think it's pretty. It will make a really nice wall hanging for her. My back, I'm definitely not very neat. You know how they say, you know, you're supposed to have a neat back, as neat a back as a front, or whatever. Yeah, that doesn't happen in my world. My backs are always a mess. But anyway, so this is Be Joyful cross stitch. I have not worked on any of my Into the Jungle one because I've been trying to make sure I finish this one and before I move on to the other one. So that's why I've been focusing a lot on this one. And I'm very excited. I just, like I said, just have all the back stitching to do, which is kind of a lot. But I feel like there's an end in sight for this. So that is very, very exciting. So I'd recommend it. It's pretty easy. The pattern comes with all the thread that you need, and needles, and the Aida cloth, and all you need is a hoop. And I just got it on Amazon. It wasn't very expensive at all. So yeah, that's been really, really fun. The other big thing that I wanted to make sure I talked about today is something that is going to be coming up soon. So let me just pause so I can go get it, and then I can share with you what I'm talking about. Okay, so I just posted this on Instagram too. So if you followed me on Instagram, you probably saw this. But this is, this Friday, my pattern for my That 70s tee will be being released. I'm very excited. So this, just to remind you guys, this is the That 70s tee. I'm calling it the That 70s tee instead of That 70s sweater because I think there was already a pattern on Ravelry that was That 70s sweater. But this is the That 70s tee, and it's done in my alternative sock base. This color is Nuclear, and this hot pink is Hubba Bubba. And it's been test knit now, and it's ready to go. And so I'm thinking, yeah, the release is going to be Friday. I've got it all like written out. Everything looks pretty. I'm just kind of, you know, finishing up, making sure that everything kind of worked out like it was supposed to. And so if you are interested in knitting this sweater, it's coming out on Friday. Yay! So I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that. And I will have a coupon code for you guys, and I should just tell you guys what that coupon code is now so you can jot it down. And it will be good for 20% off for the first week. So if you want to get the pattern and you want to get it for 20% off, that is the time to do it. So the coupon code will be springtee, so SPRINGTEE. And that will be good for 1 week, starting on Friday, and it will go so Friday the 30th to April 6th, I believe, is the next Friday. And yeah, so that will be very, very exciting. And I'm hoping you guys are super pumped and ready to go for that sweater. I think I really want to knit another one, but I have some other plans in the works too. But yeah, I do think I want to knit another one because it is such a fun t-shirt like sweater. Very nice, lightweight, perfect for this spring that we're starting to get. It's super sunny out now, at least here today it is. It's kind of been, you know, a little bit of rain here, a little bit of sun here, but it's very promising and the weather looks very nice. So yeah, get out your color combinations, start like mixing and matching. There's all sorts of possibilities. You could do 2 different solids, 2 different speckles, with one with like a high contrast. You can do a solid for the front and speckled sleeve lengths. So whatever you want. It comes in a range of sizes, all the way from a 30, I believe, to 30 or 32. I don't know. I can't remember, but it's written down. All the way up to a 58-inch chest. So quite a few. There's 8 different sizes. So hopefully there's a size out there that will work for you. And that will be in my Ravelry, on Ravelry starting Friday. So I'm thinking probably Friday morning around 9 o'clock or so, Pacific time, I should have it up on the website. So please go ahead and check that out. I really appreciate it. I am so excited about this, being it's my first sweater, and I really think it turned out great, and I can't wait to kind of see all the things that you guys make with it. So that is one thing I did want to make sure I talked to you guys about. The other thing I've been thinking about, you know, my next knitting projects and what I want to do, and I'm definitely thinking I want to do that Shusui shrug. The brioche shawl shrug thing, that sounds really fun. So I've been playing with some color combinations in the dye pots, trying to come up with something. I really want one that kind of looks like the King fiber one that they have in the pattern. It's like a light blue, green, speckled with orange and black and yellow. Maybe a little pink in there sometimes. And she does it with like another light green kind of underneath. Like it's a 2-color brioche, but her second color is very similar to her first color. So you just get this really nice like depth of this minty greeny color with a lot of the speckles, and then she does this nice orange border. So I think I really want one that looks like that or very similar to that. So I've been playing in the dye pots to try to come up with some colors that I think would work. So that is going to be happening, I think, as soon as I get done with my with my Zweig sweater. I think that's the next thing that's in the works. The other thing that I have planning that I want to do is the new Baubles shawl by Andrea Mowry. I am waiting on yarn for that though, because I ordered yarn from Magpie Fibers, who did the collaboration with her. If you guys haven't seen the Baubles shawl, it's really beautiful. It's a 3-color shawl. Part of it is brioche, part of it is lace. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I can't even like say enough about it. I love it so much, and I really wanted kind of similar to the colors that are in the sample shawl that Andrea is wearing in the picture. It's like a turquoise and a mustardy yellow with this creamy, speckly thing in the middle. So I ordered some yarn from Magpie Fibers in her singles base, and I ordered it the day before the pattern was released. I think the pattern was released on the 15th of March, And it still hasn't shipped, so I'm thinking that she's probably quite busy with the Andrea Mowry orders. I'm just hoping to get it soon because I really want to cast on that shawl very badly. So those are the next two things kind of coming down the pipeline for me. I'm trying to focus on what I've cast on and work on those as opposed to starting a bunch of new projects. I still have some other socks I need to finish, so I might, if I finish this pair of socks, I might bust out my Christmassy colored socks, or I might wait until Christmas. I don't know. I'm not really feeling socks that much. It's hard enough doing this Hermione's Everyday sock right now, but I do want to get this pair done because it is in my yarn, so I want people to be able to see that at the show. So yeah, I just yeah, I'm feeling like I need to do that. And then the other thing in the design work plan is to redo or do my Hepzibah shawl again, but in a fingering weight version, something that's a little lightweight for those people who don't really like worsted weight patterns for shawls. Or if you're, you know, older lady going through menopause and starting to get some hot flashes, which, you know, could be me any day now because you never know. I could be, you know, starting to have things here. I'm 41, so stuff happens when you get to be in your 40s. So I want to create that pattern, but do it as a fingering weight shawl for people. So that's the design plan that's happening at the moment. So sweater to be released, Baubles and Shrug to be knit, and that's pretty much what I got today. I know it's quick, I know it's fast, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in a couple weeks. Bye.